The Dallas Cowboys offensive line might just surprise everyone this season, and not in the way most expect. Let's rewind for a moment. One of their key linemen was shifted to center, but here's the kicker. He made that transition without proper in-season coaching or detailed development. That's a tough ask in the NFL, especially when you're expected to anchor the entire protection unit with little support. But now, things are changing. Fast. There's a reason for renewed hope in Dallas, and his name is Duke Mweather. Manyweather isn't just some off-season trainer. He's become the go-to offensive line guru across the league. From Pro Bowlers to All-Pros, his name carries weight in the trenches. And lucky for the Cowboys, his entire training operation, OL Masterminds, is right in their own backyard, in Frisco, Texas. This isn't hype. It's a reality backed by serious results. Cowboys left tackle Tyler Guyton recently spoke about working with Manyweather, saying, "He's all about the offensive line. It's position-specific training, and everything we do there helps us become better players." And it's not just the drills, it's the energy, the atmosphere. Players from different NFL teams gather under one roof to sharpen their skills, trade knowledge, and push each other. That kind of iron sharpens iron environment is rare, and Dallas has direct access to it. The concept behind Manyweather's training is built around three pillars: mind, body, and craft. He knows not every player comes into the league with freakish athleticism, but those three elements, anyone can master them if they're willing to work. He learned that himself. As a former D2 lineman at Humboldt State, he realized early on he wouldn't be suiting up in the NFL, but he could still change the game. His philosophy? Be smart, be disciplined, and perfect your technique. And it's worked. His first major client? Lane Johnson, the six-time Pro Bowl right tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. Since then, he's helped transform countless linemen into elite NFL blockers. For the Cowboys, this is a huge win. With chemistry being just as important for offensive linemen as it is for quarterbacks and receivers, having a training hub like this gives Dallas a hidden advantage heading into the season. This isn't about hype anymore. This is about preparation, precision, and pride. Back in 2018, Duke Mweather was watching NFL Network's Top 100 Players countdown. That's when he heard something that lit a fire under him. It was Lane Johnson, Philadelphia's star right tackle, speaking from the heart. "These defensive players are getting so good. We need to all get in a room and figure out how to stop these guys." That one comment sparked a movement. Manyweather picked up the phone, called Johnson immediately, and together they organized the first-ever offensive line Masterminds Summit, a two-day gathering in Frisco, Texas, designed to counter the pass rush dominance showcased at Von Miller's Sack Summit. That summer, 27 of the NFL's top linemen came together, not to compete, but to elevate. Among them, Mitchell Schwartz, Chiefs, Terron Armstead, Saints, Ryan Jensen, Buccaneers, DJ Fluker, a former first-rounder. This wasn't just a workout, it was a think tank, a fraternity, a brotherhood of blockers committed to mastering their craft. Since then, the summit has become a staple of every NFL offseason. But the truth is, the grind never stops. Manyweather works with players year-round, and during the quiet months, his facility becomes a battleground where reputations are forged and refined. What makes this environment so powerful isn't just the drills, it's the competition. Tyler Smith, Cowboys left guard, said it best. "The training's great, but it's the guys who are there that make it special. When I train, I want to compete. I want to go against the best." He's not alone. From Rashawn Slater to Zion Johnson, from Trey Smith to Cesar Ruiz, elite offensive linemen are flocking to Manyweather's camp. Why? Because there's no ego in the trenches, no secrets, just knowledge, technique, and shared hunger. This spring, Rashawn Slater and Trey Smith, both Pro Bowlers entering the final year of their rookie deals, chose to train with Manyweather until mandatory minicamps. That's trust. That's belief in the process. And when it comes to the Cowboys, Duke Mweather's influence runs deep. He began working with Dallas linemen over a decade ago, guys like Ronald Leary and Jeremy Parnell. But it was when future Hall of Famer Zach Martin became a client that everything changed. Martin isn't just respected, he's the standard. And when he speaks, the young guys listen. Since then, Manyweather has become more than a trainer. He's a quiet architect behind the scenes. Through coaching changes and front office shakeups, he's been the one consistent voice for many of Dallas's linemen. Since 2014, the Cowboys have had 7 or 8 offensive line coaches, Manyweather said. But for a lot of these guys, I've been the constant, the one steady presence in their careers. And now, the Cowboys are making it official. New offensive line coach Connor Riley and assistant Raymond Chinny, young senior, met with Manyweather this past June. Their goal? To align training philosophies, to ensure that even when NFL rules prevent direct coaching, the Cowboys linemen stay on track. It's a brilliant workaround, because under the current CBA, coaches are limited in how much contact they can have with players in the offseason. But if the Cowboys can't coach their guys directly, having someone like Manyweather guiding them, that's the next best thing, maybe even better. For years, one of the biggest gaps in NFL player development, especially for offensive linemen, was the lack of communication between independent trainers and team coaching staffs. The Cowboys, like many teams, sent their linemen to top-tier trainers in the offseason. But without clear alignment, that training could miss the mark. That's changing. This offseason, new offensive line coach Connor Riley took a critical step forward. He reached out to Duke Mweather directly, not just to acknowledge his role, but to actively collaborate with him. That move matters. Riley understood something fundamental. If your players are going to spend hours grinding with a trainer in the offseason, that trainer better be on the same page as your coaching staff. That wasn't always the case in the past. In fact, there was little to no indication that the previous Cowboys staff ever had this kind of dialogue with Manyweather. It left a disconnect. Technique being taught in the gym wasn't always syncing up with what was being asked in the playbook. But now, there's unity. "We're seeing everything through one set of eyes," said Manyweather after meeting with Riley and assistant coach Raymond Chinny, young senior. "I'm not here to change what they're doing. I'm here to make these guys more effective, more efficient, in doing what's already being asked of them." That's a powerful alignment. It's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about sharpening it, making it spin smoother, faster, and stronger. And for the first time in a while, the Cowboys coaching staff and the independent trainer, trusted by their linemen, are pulling in the same direction. Let's talk results. Here's what the projected starting 5 for Dallas are currently working on in their intensive 2-hour daily sessions with Manyweather leading up to training camp in Oxnard, California on July 21st. Guyton's rookie season was rocky. Even his teammate Tyler Smith called it tumultuous. But Guyton has responded the right way. He's overhauled his diet. He's refined his training habits. And with Manyweather's guidance, he's focused on improving 3 core areas: posture, strength, and balance in his stance. That focus matters. Guyton made a significant transition this year, from right tackle at Oklahoma, where he protected a left-handed quarterback's blind side, to left tackle in the NFL, guarding Dak Prescott's blind side. It's not just a position switch, it's a whole new world. He played in 15 games last season, starting 11, and showed flashes of dominance. But there were also penalties, the kind that come from poor balance, rushed movement, and technique breakdowns under pressure. Manyweather is working to clean that up. Posture all throughout the rep, Manyweather explained. The way you stand, the way your weight transitions, your lean, your knee bend, your ankle flexion, everything from start to finish needs to be deliberate. At 6 feet 7 inches and 322 pounds, Guyton is a physical monster. But if he can harness that frame with better mechanics and body control, He could become an anchor on the Cowboys line for years to come. This is what the offseason is for. Not hype, not headlines, but real growth. Quiet, disciplined, intense work that shows up when it matters most. On Sundays. Learning to dominate from the opposite side of the line. It's not as simple as flipping a playbook. For Tyler Guyton, shifting from right tackle to the left side has meant rewiring everything, from movement patterns to mental habits. And Duke Mweather has made it clear. Don't expect this side to feel like the one you've repped 1,000 times before. It won't. It's a different movement, a different rhythm. The focus for Guyton has been posture, weight distribution, and resetting his feet. The foundation of all efficient handwork. He's not just practicing moves, he's building muscle memory for a new side of the battle line. And that's what makes it so encouraging. This isn't vague talk about working harder. This is mechanical, technical, fixable. And Guyton is putting in the hours to correct it. Now, let's talk about the new leader up front. With Zach Martin and Terence Smith both moving on, the mantle of leadership on the Cowboys' offensive line now belongs to Tyler Smith, and he's stepping into it with power. His area of focus? Explosion. We're working on getting off the ball faster. First 3 steps into the ground. Boom! That's how you use leverage and unleash the power Tyler has, Manyweather said. Smith has already stacked back-to-back Pro Bowl appearances at left guard, but this offseason, he's taken things up a notch. He's learning how to end fights early in pass protection, aggressive sets, quick jumps, and the kind of violence in his hands that defenders can't shake. Every year, he's refining his redirection, his ability to adjust mid-rep. It's all coming together, Manyweather added. And while Smith builds on proven success, the Cowboys are also developing the future, right in the middle of the line. Enter Cooper Beebe, the 2025 third-round pick from Kansas State. Beebe dominated college football, leaving as the Big 12's Offensive Lineman of the Year. But the Cowboys threw him a curveball, moving him to center to replace Tyler Biadasz, who signed with Washington in free agency. That kind of transition isn't easy, especially without full in-season development. But the connection between Beebe and the new offensive line coach, Connor Riley, is a hidden advantage. Riley coached Beebe at Kansas State. He knows how to get the most out of him. Still, the learning curve was steep. We didn't get a full install with him during the season, Manyweather said. Most of what he relied on came from our off-season work. I tried to coach him from a distance as best I could, sending him tips, film breakdowns, just trying to help him stay afloat. Now, Beebe is working closely with both Riley and Manyweather, locking in on 2 key areas, using his offhand and tailoring his steps and targets in the run game. Becoming a great center isn't just about snapping the ball. It's about seeing the defense pre-snap, commanding the interior, and having balance and control with both hands. That's where Beebe is growing, and with a full off-season under his belt, the jump in year 2 could be real. This is how offensive lines are built, not just by talent, but by trust, technique, and tireless work. Dallas isn't just reloading, they're rebuilding the wall from the inside out. Let's call it what it was. Cooper Beebe was thrown into the fire last season. A decorated left guard in college, Beebe was moved to center in his NFL rookie year, with little to no in-season development. It's hard to believe, but that's exactly what happened. He was tasked with one of the most complex roles on the offensive line, and instead of being guided, he was left to figure it out on the fly. He didn't have proper technique coaching. He didn't have detailed instruction. He had what he learned in the off-season, and not much else. That's not just a missed opportunity. That's a failure in development. The center is the brain of the offensive line. He has to read fronts, make protection calls, snap the ball cleanly, and stay anchored against elite interior defenders. And yet, Beebe was out there trying to adapt, without a full system in place to support him. But the good news? That's behind him now. With new coaching leadership in place, and Duke Mweather continuing to guide his technical growth, Beebe finally has the foundation to take the next step. Confidence is rising, and with better structure, his game could rise with it. Now, let's talk about the next man up, Tyler Booker. Booker, the Cowboys' first-round pick in 2025, is being groomed to replace Zach Martin, one of the greatest right guards of this generation. That's no small task, but Booker's preparation started long before draft night. He began training with Manyweather back at Alabama. The mission? Prepare him to play on both sides of the line. That cross-training is critical. In the pros, versatility is power. Whether it's Zach Martin, Terence Steele, or Tyler Guyton, we always train for both left and right, Manyweather explained. Tyler got reps on both sides even before the draft, and we're continuing that now. But it's not just about versatility, it's about injury prevention and long-term durability. There's a sports science reason behind Manyweather's method. Constantly training just one side of the body, like always playing on the left, can create imbalances. Over time, that leads to overuse injuries, tightness, and even chronic breakdowns in certain joints. The body's cross-threaded, Manyweather said. If a guy's only rotating one way all the time, it shortens one side and overcompensates the other. We're training both sides to prevent that. That's next-level thinking, and it's one of the reasons Manyweather's linemen don't just perform, they endure. Finally, we turn to one of the Cowboys' most battle-tested warriors, Terence Steele. Undrafted out of Texas Tech in 2020, Steele beat the odds and became a day-one starter at right tackle. But the journey hasn't been easy. He suffered a devastating ACL and MCL tear in late 2022, the kind of injury that can derail a career. But Dallas believed in him. They showed that faith with a 5-year, $82.5 million contract extension. Now healthy, Steele's focus this offseason has been twofold: sharpening his handwork and improving his mobility. This is about refining the details, the inches that make all the difference between a clean pocket and a collapsed one. For a guy with Steele's toughness and experience, matching that grit with cleaner technique could elevate his game to another level. This is where the Cowboys are headed, a smarter, more coordinated offensive line built through trust, science, and total buy-in. And they're not just getting ready for Week 1, they're building a front that can dominate deep into January. There's no sugarcoating it. The last 2 seasons have been tough for Terence Steele, especially in pass protection. Since the start of 2023, Steele has allowed 94 quarterback pressures, more than any other offensive lineman in the league. That's a brutal stat. And when your quarterback is Dak Prescott, who's already carrying so much of the load, that pressure has consequences. But here's the important part. Steele knows what went wrong, and now he's working relentlessly to fix it. His strength in the run game has never been in question. He's always been a reliable mauler in that aspect. But pass protection is where he's shifting focus. The issue wasn't just physical, it was technical. Under former offensive line coach Mike Solari, the emphasis tilted too far toward raw athleticism and strength. Technique took a back seat, and it showed, especially in Steele's hand usage and reactive footwork. Solari wanted him to use his hands in ways that didn't fit his style, said Manyweather. Late last season, you started to see Steele slowly revert back to the techniques that worked for him in 2022. Now, with Connor Riley taking over, there's alignment again. Riley and Manyweather are on the same page. That matters. They're working together to rebuild Steele's fundamentals: hand timing, change of direction, and reactive movement. And it's already paying off. He's moving better. He's confident on the knee again. He's rediscovering who he is, Manyweather added. The Cowboys have a new tone in the offensive line room, one built on purpose, communication, and precision. And for a unit that was once crumbling under confusion and misdirection, this new direction could be transformational. There's a sense of revival, not just in technique, but in identity, with leaders like Duke Mweather training the trenches year-round, with Connor Riley implementing real structure and cohesion. And with players like Steele, Smith, Guyton, and Booker fully bought in, this Cowboys offensive line is finally heading towards something it hasn't had in a while: clarity, confidence, and continuity.